Day was January 23rd, 1897. Cuttack. A baby boy was born to Parvati Devi Bose and Janakinath Bose. Recently, we celebrated Parakram Divas, birth anniversary of a great and prominent leader of Indian independence movement on 23rd January 2025. Hello and welcome to my channel. And before diving into the thrilling story of Netaji Subhas Chandra Bose's great escape from his house in Calcutta, please subscribe the channel. So let's begin. Hollowell Monument was erected by G. Hollowell during his short-term governorship in Calcutta in 1760 at his own cost. The monument was built as a symbol representing bravery of the British soldiers sacrificed their lives during the Black Hole tragedy and allegedly symbolized the savagery nature of the last Nawab of Bengal, Sirajudollah. In July 1940, Netaji launched an aggressive movement for the removal of the Hollowell Monument from Dalhousie Square in Calcutta as it depicted the beginning of the British Empire, India's darkest period. Once the movement for its removal was launched, an aggressive revolutionary speech by Netaji affected the peace of the British India government. The British Empire arrested him under Section 129 of the Indian Defence Act and on sedition charges and was kept in the Presidency Jail, Calcutta. Let's go back little. In 1938, Subhas Chandra Bose was elected as the President of Congress, and again in 1939 he was re-elected as the President of Congress with 205 votes. Soon discomfort arose between him and the National Congress leaders, top leaders like Mahatma Gandhi and Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. Subhas Chandra Bose wanted Congress to become a fighting force against the British Empire to pursue the total independence, as he believed no real change in history has been achieved by discussions. While Mahatma Gandhi and Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel didn't see any merit in such confrontation, and they were absolutely fine and happy with the Dominion status. Therefore, he resigned from the Indian National Congress as president on 29th April 1939 and founded the Forward Bloc in Makur, Unnao, Uttar Pradesh on May 3rd, 1939. Coming back to 1940. 19th November 1940, Netaji launched a first unto death or a hunger strike as the popular leader's health worsened or deteriorated. The British government released him on 5th December 1940 to avoid the public outcry, but was put on the house arrest in his Elgin Road house, Calcutta, but under the monitoring of 24/7 security. To fulfill his long-term dream of liberating India from the clutches of the British power, he realized that he needs to escape from India. During house arrest, Bose started behaving as if he was on his way to become a Hindu monk. He started growing a thick, long beard, slept on the floor, and was sending letters to Rishi Aurobindo on Hindu philosophy, with an aim to confuse the British. On the other hand, the Great Escape Plan was crafted with the help of a few people like Major Satyagupta Satyaranjan Bakshi of Bengali volunteers. The story of his Great Escape actually starting from here. Netaji escaped from his Calcutta Elgin Road house under the nose of the British intelligence agency, became a part of folklore and was a great act of bravery and courage. Would Bose become a saint? No way. Exactly this was the thinking of British Governor Herbert, so he instructed his men to keep close eyes on Subhas. January 17th and 18th, 1941. After midnight, Muhammad Ziauddin, along with Netaji's nephew Shishir Bose, left Elgin Road house in the Shishir's car, Baby Austin, with a number plate BLA 7169 and towards Bareilly, Bihar, and rested in another nephew's house, Dr. Ashok Nath Bose. Later, Shishir drove Muhammad Ziauddin to Gomo station, and from there Ziauddin travelled in the Peshawar mail. Here is some confusion. Some says that Muhammad Ziauddin left along with Netaji's other nephew Dr. Ashok Nath Bose and his wife in Shishir Bose's car. After leaving them in their house in Bihar, they proceed for Netaji's lawyer friend Sheikh Muhammad Abdullah's house, who lived in Loko Bazar, Bihar, now Jharkhand. Who was Muhammad Ziauddin? Netaji disguised himself as a Muslim man named Muhammad Ziauddin and dressed himself in a long brown closed-collar coat, baggy salwars and a black fez with gold wire-rimmed glasses. The escape plan was shared with Sheikh Abdullah, and it was decided that Netaji would board the Howrah-Peshawar Mail 63 train from the station by disguising as a Pathan or as a Muslim man. On Sheikh Abdullah's request, Tailor Amin of Gomo hurriedly prepared a Pathani dress for Subhas Chandra Bose, and on the same day after midnight by 1 a.m. Amin Tailor took Netaji to the station, and where he finally boarded the train from platform number 3. Netaji researcher Jayant Chaudhary had a different version. According to him, it was Sardar Niranjan Singh Talib who actually drove Netaji in a black German Wanderer sedan to Santiniketan in Bolpur, Birbhum district of Bengal Presidency, now West Bengal. He visited Santiniketan and took the blessings of Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore. And from here, Netaji went to Burdwan district, located about 100 km from Calcutta, and took Frontier Mail to Delhi, and from there boarded the Peshawar Mail. Whether Netaji took the Peshawar Mail from Gomo railway station or from Delhi was unclear, but he took the Peshawar Mail, that was for sure. Netaji left for a sacred destination by the train on a journey, and which is known as Nishkraman Yatra. To honor the great leader, Gomo station was renamed as Netaji Subhas Chandra Bose Gomo station in 2009. To preserve and keep alive the memories of the Great Escape, a life-size bronze statue of Netaji has been installed between the platform number 1 and 2 of Netaji Subhas Chandra Bose Gomo Junction. The tale of the Great Escape is also briefly written on a plaque at the junction. In Peshawar, he met Mia Akbar Khan and stayed in the Taj Mahal Hotel for a day, but quickly shifted to the house of Abad Khan. For Subhash Bose, the next challenge was to cross the British Empire territory. Elaborate plan was made to cross the boundaries of the British Empire. Abad Khan taught Ziauddin a few Afghani etiquettes like drinking water from koza, that is water pot, and to partake food from a common plate with fellow Pathans. Among Pathans, it is a ritual and common practice that all Pathan men sit together in a circle and share their food from the same plate. With the new sets of clothes and local headgear, Subhas Chandra Bose took his second disguise, a deaf and mute Pathan, as it was necessary, as he did not speak Pashto, the local language. As an associate of Mia Akbar Khan, Bhagwat Ram Talwar came into the picture, who took the disguise of another Pathan named Rahmat Khan. The cover story was that Rahmat Khan would be taking his elder relative Muhammad Ziauddin to Adda Sharif in an attempt to cure him or for a possible miracle. Meanwhile, in Calcutta, the date of next hearing for Bose case was fixed on January 27, and soon the British discovered his disappearance. British Viceroy Linlithgow got angry at Governor Hubbard. As a result, the British administration became hyperactive. A Japanese ship which sailed from Calcutta on January 19, 1941 was diverted to a Chinese port to search for the Bose. Bose sent letters to Rishi Aurobindo in Pondicherry previously. Therefore, the British started investigating along the Pondicherry border in hope to catch Subhas. In Calcutta, Subhas Bose's mother, Prabhavati Devi Bose, questioned the police and British administration that despite their huge police force being deployed, why none of them were able to spot Subhas. On the other hand, Bose and Ram Bhagat Talwar both quietly crossed the last British checkpost after traveling in a car and trekked through the mountainous tracks with the help of a local tribal guide, and finally stepped into Afghanistan on 26 January 1941. Day was 31st January 1941. Subhas Chandra Bose reached Kabul, Afghanistan after defeating harsh winter, traveling through the dangerous frontier tribal area using all modes of transportation from tonga to trucks to foot, eating and resting in mosques and shrines by night and traveling in daytime. To escape from Afghanistan, he needed a third identity. Therefore, he approached the German embassy in Kabul, Afghanistan. But there was nothing much from the German embassy. With the help of the Italian ambassador Pietro Quaroni, he fled from Afghanistan using the passport of Orlando Mazzotta, another Italian diplomat. He set off his journey with 2 German and 1 Italian and traveled through the mountainous passes of Hindu Kush range and reached Samarkand from Kabul by car. From here, he and his companion boarded a train to Moscow. On 31st March, Bose reached Moscow, and on 2nd April, he reached Berlin, crossing 4 countries and outwitting the most powerful empire in the world. Soon his wife, Emily Schenkel, and his secretary joined him in Germany. April 1941, Bose arrived in Nazi Germany. In Germany, Bose was attached to the Special Bureau for India under Adam von Trott-Zusols, which was responsible for broadcasting the German-sponsored Azad Hind radio program. In February 1942, the world came to know about the Subhas Chandra Bose whereabouts as he reveals his own identity to the world through a radio broadcast. The prime idea which motivated Subhas Chandra Bose to explore all possible means for achieving the cherished goal of India's independence. He had adopted the concept enemy's enemy is your friend. That's why he looked at Nazi Germany. On 29th May 1942, Bose arrived at Wilhelmstrasse, Berlin to meet Adolf Hitler in a special courier aircraft, where he was received by Foreign Affairs Minister of Germany, Joachim von Ribbentrop. Germany during the First World War was completely different from the Germany of the Second World War. After the First World War, Germany was grappling with its defeat and subsequent imposition of the Treaty of Versailles. The Treaty of Versailles was a peace treaty signed in 1919 that ended First World War and was signed by Germany and the Allied power in the Hall of Mirrors at the Palace of Versailles. Due to the treaty, Germany had territorial losses and heavy compensation was imposed on them. Hitler's Germany had a long time aspiration to rule the whole world. But after the defeat of Germany in the First World War, the ambition of establishing German supremacy on the world stage was terribly collapsed. From the first day, India's independence was nowhere in German strategy of war. Their sympathy and support for India's struggle for independence was just a superficial one, and Hitler's Germany just wanted to snatch the jewel of the British Empire, India. Bose was completely unaware about the Germans' conspiracy, and this was his worst miscalculation. Towards the last stage of World War II, the world was watching India with curious mind. Gandhi's call for Quit India movement did not acquire the expected quantum in the beginning, and on the top of that, the top Congress leaders were arrested, and thus once again British were at the victory side by suppressing the movement. That was the time when everything goes unfavorable for India's independence. First, all top leaders were in jail. Man-made famine in Bengal. Growth of Muslim communal politics in India. Suspicious activities of the Communist Party of India. The shadow of war in the eastern side of India, and all this together pulled down the spirit of the common people towards the country's freedom struggle. With great risks, a dejected and heartbroken Subhas Chandra Bose left Berlin and reached Kiel by train, leaving behind his newborn daughter and his wife. February 1943, Subhas, accompanied by his Indian secretary Abid Hassan Safrani, fled Germany in a U-boat. The U-boat was a naval German submarine, entered the Indian Ocean through the Cape of Good Hope, and then sailed for the island of Madagascar. After reaching Madagascar, he again traveled by the submarine, but this time the submarine was Japanese. Japanese I-29 landed in Saban Island of Indonesia on May 6, 1943. At Sabang, Bose was received by Bin Yamamoto, president of Hikari Kikan, a group set by the Japanese chiefly to liaise with the Indian National Army. From Sabang, Bose and Yamamoto flew to Tokyo, touching Penang, Manila, Saigon, Taiwan, and finally landed on May 16, 1943 in Tokyo. Bose was traveling all along from Germany to Tokyo under the name Matsuda. The dramatic, long, epic journey took 3 months. In Tokyo, Bose met Hajime Sugiyama, Imperial Army Chief of General Staff, and explained his plan of capturing the port city of Chittagong in today's southeastern Bangladesh. 10th June 1943, Bose met Japanese Prime Minister Tojo in Tokyo. Bose, with his customary frankness, asked Tojo, "Can Japan give unconditional help to the Indian independence movement? I would like to confirm that there are no strings attached to Japanese aid." Tojo immediately gave Bose an affirmative reply. Moreover, Tojo was ready to publicly affirm his official support for Bose and INA. Establishment and development of the India's Independence League was initiated in the Far East under the leadership of another revolutionary freedom fighter, Sri Raj Bihari Bose, in March 1942. The Indian prisoners of war were captured by the Japanese in Malaya and Burma fronts, were encouraged to join the Indian Independence League and become the soldiers of the Indian National Army. Indian National Army formed on 1st September 1942 as the military wing of Raj Bihari Bose Indian National League by Mohan Singh. The Indian National Army is often termed as Army born in exile. On 2nd July 1943, Netaji arrived in Singapore at the invitation of Raj Bihari Bose. He was appointed as the president of the Indian Independence League. The position was generously handed over to Subhas Chandra Bose by Raj Bihari Bose. Subhas Chandra Bose recruited Indian prisoners of war in Europe and North America to form Azad Hind Fauj or Free India Army or Indian National Army INA to fight for India's freedom. Subhas Chandra Bose had a great influence on Southeastern Asian people, and as a result of which many civilians along with the prisoners of war joined the Indian National Army. Many civilians provided financial support to sustain military organizations like INA. Finally, on 21st October 1943, a provisional government of Azad Hind was formed by Netaji. Japan supported Netaji's INA financially, politically, and with military support at Cathay Cinema Hall. On 22nd October 1943, Netaji inaugurated a fighting unit of India's women warrior called the Rani of Jhansi Regiment of the Azad Hind Fauj. It was headed by Captain Lakshmi Swaminathan. It was perhaps the first female infantry fighting unit in the military history. He gave his powerful call to the Indian National Army or INA in 1943 from Singapore, urging them to march towards Delhi Chalo, and fight for Indian independence against the British government.
I don't know how many of us who are going to participate in the coming battles will survive to see India free. But whether we survive or not, whether we individually live to see India free or not, we are confident that India shall be free. हमारा भी एक ही नारा होना चाहिए, हो सकता है, और दिल्ली, चलो दिल्ली, जवानों आजाद करवाए, चलो दिल्ली, ये झंडा शान से हम अपना लहराए.
In the spring of 1944, Indian Manipur sector was attacked by the Japanese army along with number 1 division of the INA, and they fought brilliantly. The British army was forced to abandon their transport equipments and retreated from the warfield along the road of Thamu, Imphal and Tidim, Imphal. INA soldiers' morale got boosted and they hosted tricolor on the free land of Moirang. Situation reversed for the Azad Hind Fauj as heavy rain in Burma submerged the supply lines of the army, which rendered the army without any logistic support. Arms, ammunition, and food could not march further. Taking advantage of this situation, the British forces conducted air raids on the occupied area, and which forced the INA forces to retreat. Colonel P.K. Sehgal wrote in his book The Indian National Army, stated that from the ordinary mortals of clay, he, Netaji, created many thousands of heroes. Germany surrendered to the Allied forces in 1945, but Japan still continued the fight. At that moment, atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki were dropped by the United States on 6th and 9th August 1945. The Soviet Union also declared war on Japan on 8th August 1945, and ultimately Japan surrendered. In these circumstances, INA or Indian National Army had no other options but to stop its activities. Netaji's long-term dream of seeing India's independence shattered, but his willpower did not shatter. Subhas Chandra Bose tried to issue the instruction to the army wings and the civilians about what should be done from Singapore. Kaviguru Rabindranath Tagore hailed Subhas Chandra Bose as Desh Nayak, hero of the nation. Rabindranath Tagore's greatest tribute to Bose was through one of his short story, Badnaam. Coincidentally, it was written almost at the same time as when Netaji disappeared. In the story, Badnaam, the protagonist, is a freedom fighter named Anil who is crossing Afghanistan like Subhas Chandra Bose and definitely says, আমারে বাঁধবি তোরা, সে বাঁধন কি তোদের আছে? If you like the video, then do not forget to like, share, subscribe, and please drop the comment in the comment section below. Until then, safe out there. Namaskar. Jai Hind.